Apex Legends for the Nintendo Switch 2 is officially here with the launch of Apex Legends Season 26. It went live earlier today, and pretty much with this update, we actually got a separate version for the Nintendo Switch 2 console. So now Switch 1 players and 2 players are both playing separate copies of the game. And the Switch 2 actually now has improved graphics and fully 100% 60 FPS, which I can tell you guys is legit. After playing this, we also got official confirmation of that actually as well. So I'm gonna throw it on screen for you guys right now. We're gonna be doing some later on in the video. We're gonna be doing some gameplay comparisons of the Switch 1 version and the Switch 2 version. But just getting into this, if you guys are playing Apex Legends on the Switch 2, you will no longer be able to play the Switch 1 version of the game. It'll actually make you, once you go into the game, it'll actually make you switch versions and go through the eShop and actually download a separate copy of the game. Pretty much the same thing they did with Fortnite. Fortnite had the same thing on release of the Switch 2 console, so it's kind of just the same thing. Now, with the Switch 2 version, you have your separate copy, which is right here. If you guys want to know how big of data this is and how much memory this will take up, I'll show you guys right now. The Switch 2 version of Apex Legends has 54.4 megabytes of, I think that's just like the data of the game, or like update data, I think. And then there's 78.4 gigabytes. So if you guys if you have the game, I recommend you guys have a micro express SD card or have a bunch of memory ready for it when you're actually ready to download the game, because it does take a lot of. This is actually this is the highest gigabyte game I have on Switch, on the Switch 2 currently. I'm assuming once Overwatch gets a Switch 2 version, it'll be a higher gigabyte as well, but even Fortnite for the Switch 2 is only 40 gigabytes. So hopefully going forward, they're able to give us some data storage and reduce the amount of memory it takes going forward. But I'm assuming for just the first patch or the first iteration of the Switch 2 version, it's a pretty hefty download size, so keep that in mind as well. Another few things I'm going to go into as well, we're going to talk about some of the settings, because when you guys do download the game, a lot of your settings will be reset, so we'll hop into that. I'll go through that right now as well, so you guys know what to kind of do and what to check if you guys are. Alright, and when you do get into the game, you will have to re-sign into your Nintendo account, so be aware of that as well. There's also a bunch of terms of service and a few other things they make you look at and agree to as well before you get into the game all over again. Because technically it's a new copy of the game. It treats it like a brand new game when in reality it's not, so you should still have all your stuff. Just like you guys can see on screen, I have all my stuff as well. So when you get into the game as well, the first thing, if I were you guys, I learned the hard way. I actually just went into a match to see how it looked because I was really curious. But go into the settings and go through all the settings and make sure they are what you want them to be. When you download the new version of the game, for some reason it resets a lot of your settings. And for some reason, when I downloaded it, when I first went into a game, I had motion control on. I do not play the game with motion control, so those of you guys that maybe do, I don't know, some of you guys maybe play the game with motion control, I don't know. But you might have motion control on by default when you get into the game, so check that as well. There's also a few other things here as well, there was something with your laser sight, being able to customize your laser sight right here. That gets reset to default, so if you guys have a custom laser sight color, you'd also have to redo that and kind of change the color on your laser sight, so look at that as well. I had to change that as myself. Reticle, that also gets changed. It doesn't really matter for me because I just use the default one, but those of you guys that have custom reticles, you'd have to change that as well and kind of redo that upon accessing the game. There's a few other things here if you have the voice chat off, or a few other things as well that you'd have to probably reset, and it'll probably be changed to default or turned off automatically. So I would just go through all the settings and look if everything's great before you guys hop into a game. Another thing that I really want to talk about, the Switch 2 has with the Joy-Cons, you actually have a mouse thing where you can drag your mouse or the Joy-Cons across a table or on the floor or something and kind of use the Joy-Cons as a mouse. The Apex Legends supports mouse controls, y'all. Now, I'm not going to actually do it because I actually don't have the mouse. I play the game with the TV mode. So those of you guys that actually play Apex Legends with the mouse mode, let us know if it's any good in the comments down below. But you can actually use the mouse mode and the Joy-Con mouse settings, and you have a bunch of settings here you can actually change for the Joy-Cons if you want to use them like a mouse. So now we are at the point where, which is actually really, really unique. I don't think any other console can do that. I don't think the PS5 or the Xbox One or whatever. I don't think the Xbox can do that either. So if you guys do play the game on Switch too, you can actually use a console and technically play on a console, but use mouse and keyboard, I guess technically. I'm not sure how it exactly works. I think it's just you just use it as a mouse, and like all the buttons are a little bit different. But if you guys know if it's any good, let me know in the comments down below. I haven't tried it. Like I said, I play the game in tabletop mode, so or with TV mode, so I don't really want to try it either because I don't. The Joy Cons, if I touch the Joy Cons, I'm scared I'm gonna break them. They cost like $100 now, so I really don't even want to use the Joy Cons. I just use a Pro controller, so if you guys want to let me know how if they're any good. I just wanted to bring that up as well because a lot of people are really curious whether the game will support the Joy-Con mouse function, which it seems to actually work, and it seems to actually have an options for a bunch of settings for it as well. So I don't know why they would have mouse settings when you cannot use the Joy-Con mouse mode. So keep that in mind as well. So now we're going to probably get into some of the gameplay comparisons. I'll probably throw a time screen or timestamp on screen for you guys of just so you're just able to skip to how both games look. On one of the sides, I'll probably mark which one's which of the Switch 1 gameplay of the game of the previous version that we had up until today. And then on one side, I'll also have the brand new updated graphics and 60 FPS version of the game for the Switch 2, so you guys can compare. Honestly, if I'm being real with you guys, it feels like an entirely different game. It really does. Like, I've been playing the game on Nintendo Switch 1 for over 5 years, and the Switch 1 version of the game up until today. And I've never played the game with 60 FPS, and with how it looks just fucking incredible. It really does. Words cannot state how much of a different game it really is. So if you guys are somebody that's on like the Switch 1 and if you're wondering whether you should upgrade to Switch 2 at some point, I definitely think it is worth getting a Switch 2 just for the 60 FPS and how great this game does look. Especially the skins and like the atmosphere and even like the graphics and like the details. On the Switch 1, the ground was all just you couldn't even see the grass on the ground or like the rocks or anything. It was just mainly like it was kind of just more of like blotchy and like just completely flat. And this you actually have like details of grass and like pebbles and all that type of shit on the ground, and like there's just so many other different things. So it looks absolutely incredible. Like I said, the game it pretty much plays like an entire new game, and I've never played Apex on 60 FPS, and like it looks fucking incredible. And like, it seems like my aim is a little bit better as well. So I don't know. I don't know if it's just because I'm playing on like an actual version where everybody else is playing now, and I'm not living in the past on an old console. Because I do genuinely think that for this year, especially playing the game now, that the Switch 1 version of the game and the Switch 1 is definitely outdated. Even though that's what people have been telling me for like years now, but definitely in 2025, I think the Switch 1, how outdated it is, it's kind of one of those consoles that's kind of living in the past. And kind of needs to be move up. So if you guys are considering upgrading to a Switch 2 for the game, I definitely 100% would recommend it. The game's fucking incredible, and looks really, really good and plays really well. I have not had any errors either, like freezing, crashing, anything. I've been playing the game for like almost an entire day now before I'm recording this, since the patch went live earlier today, and have not had any crashing, any stuttering, any like freezing. That's usually a huge problem with the Switch 1 version, especially if you're playing on the normal Switch 1. So I haven't had any of those type of issues, and no server issues either, which is really surprising for a new season. That has nothing really to do with the game itself, that's the servers, but that's also really surprising having any server issues with the new season. So there's only one other thing that I would probably throw into this, and I'll throw it on screen for you guys right now. But there's an option for Rumble mode on the controller, which is actually on by default, which is called HD Rumble 2. So if you guys are using a Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller, it'll actually have Rumble on by default. My only main complaint with the Switch 2 version right now of the game is you can either have the rumble for your controller on or off, and if you have it on, it's actually a lot. It's to the point where it kind of fucks up your aim if you're in like in a team fight or like fighting people and that type of thing. The only main thing, my main complaint with the Switch 2 version of the game right now is if you're using a Pro controller, there is no slider or no option to just reduce the amount of rumble strength for the controller. It's either you have it on and it's crazy, like on max, or it's off and you have nothing. That's my main complaint. I do like having the rumble on, but just having like a slight rumble on the controller so it doesn't fuck up my aim and like when I'm trying to do stuff. And like it's to the point right now if you have it on, like it just, at least for me, it's kind of distracting and it really kind of fucks up my aim. At least for me personally, when I'm fighting people. So that's my only main complaint with the Switch 2 version. Hopefully, later down the line, if we give them enough feedback, they'll give us like a slider and like a strength setting for the rumble for the Switch 2 Pro controller. Because right now, I think it's just overboard. It's like max. It's fucking crazy. If you guys have the Switch 2 Pro controller, let me know in the comments down below. But at least for me, it's fucking crazy. I think it's way too much rumble. And I think if having a setting to be able to turn it down to like 10% or like 20% instead of like full 100 would be way better. But I have it off just mainly because I think it's really annoying and kind of fucks with my gameplay. So it's kind of unfortunate. I have a brand new controller that's incredible, really good controller, but I can't use Rumble because it's just really distracting and kind of fucks up what the game's trying to do. So hopefully that's the main thing that they need to change. Apart from that, I have no other really changes. At least with this version of the game, like there's balance problems and shit with the game as well, which we're probably gonna see over the next few days, especially when I play the game a lot more. But at least today, I've actually been really enjoying the game. And I think that's mainly because it feels like an entirely new game for me, especially after playing the same thing on the Switch 1 version for over 5 years now. So but if you guys like the video, leave a like, subscribe, share the video. Hopefully this helped you guys. Like I said, I'll probably have timestamps throughout the video so you guys can skip throughout the video. If you guys have anything to add, let me know in the comments down below. Like I said about the mouse mode and a few other things. If you guys have any personal experience, if you guys want to if you play on the Switch 2 version as well. So if you guys are interested in Switch 2 content, I also stream Apex Legends on Switch 2, make content for the game along with a bunch of other Switch 2 games like the Fortnite and bunch of other stuff like Overwatch 2 and a bunch of other games over here. So that if that interests you guys, subscribe. I also do a bunch of Pokemon content, a bunch of stuff with a lot of Nintendo stuff. So if that interests you as well, subscribe. I also stream over here usually Friday and Saturday nights. So if that interests you guys, feel free to drop by. I usually stream Apex Legends too, so I'll probably be streaming the week you guys see this video. I'll probably be streaming it on Friday night. So if you guys want to drop by, feel free to. Apart from that, I'm going to get out of here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in a future video.